And bang on 10 o'clock, let's go live. So, hello, lads, since that's what we all like to be called. It's all the Young Dudes team back with another stream, and today we're introducing you to a couple of new members of the team, including production and writers and digital artists. So let's just hop back so you can see how many of us are actually in here today, and we hope you're ready for a little bit of chaos. So here we are. We've got a lot of familiar faces in here because you all met Sirius and Ro and Des and Bex last time, but we also have some wonderful additions. So who would like to say hello first? Who's brave? Okay, Frank, do you want to be...
I don't mind, you can spotlight me if you want.
Okay.
I'm trained for Zoom shows, so...
Oh, shit, that was the wrong one.
Oh, no.
There we go.
Hello, everyone. My name's Frank, or Bean, whichever. Most people call me Bean. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm one of the writers for this project. Shall I go into a bit of my background, or do I not need to do that?
Maybe a tiny bit of background, just so you can, I don't know, if you want to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm primarily a comedy writer. I wrote for a comedy show during the first lockdown, and also I've written Wolfstar fan fiction for 6 years, so there you go, that's me.
Thank you. Okay, who would like to go next? Who put their hand up?
Me, Swifty.
Swifty. Do you want to be spotlighted?
Sure.
Oh fuck, I was meant to replace spotlight. How do you work Zoom? There we go.
Am I up?
Yes,
all right,
you are.
cool. Hi, I'm Swifty. I am one of the artists for the team. I'm primarily just an illustrator, freelance, and I really only got into Wolfstar back in December, so it's been a real uphill journey since then. But I'm super excited to be part of this project.
Cool. Thank you. Who would like to go next? Rachel, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I went to university and studied English literature, specialising in writing poetry. So poetry is really where my specialist lies. Oh, I'm a writer. I didn't say what I do. I'm one of the writers on the team. And yeah, I've never officially done any screenwriting before, so I'm excited to do that. I'm a lifelong Harry Potter fan. And yeah, I read a lot of Wolfstar many years ago up until today. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting started, really.
Cool. Thank you. Who is next? Connor, our favourite.
Good evening, everyone. We'll keep this short. So my name's Connor, and I'm one of the writers on the project. I'm really excited to be involved. That's about it about me. Also, thanks, Livy.
It's all right. And I think out of all our writers, that leaves Ruth.
Oh.
Do you want us to be spotlighted, or do you just want to stay in your corner?
Yes, go for that.
Yeah?
Let's do this.
All right.
I guess I've got to see my face in the thing. Hi, everyone. My name's Ruth. I'm a writer on the team. I'm very, very excited to be part of the team. Like Swifty, I only really got into Wolfstar like December, September, end of last year, and I've fallen completely in love. And I'm so excited to be part of this team. So I always said like finger guns.
I think we all have a bit of finger guns here, which is...
I just get really giggly, and Connor with his wine glass just set me off.
Oh wait, sorry, Ruth wasn't the last writer. Remy. Remy's very quiet. Do you want to stay down in your corner, Remy, or do you want to spotlight as well?
It's fine. It's okay.
What happened? That was not. Oh, it was because you unmuted as I clicked the thing. Anyway, sorry.
So hello, my name's Remy. I'm a writer for the series. Still don't know how I ended up here. I'm very happy to be here though. Usually what I write is pretty analytical nonfiction, but I do love writing fiction. So here I am. That's all I've got.
Thank you. So that's all the new writers on the team, as obviously Bex and I introduced ourselves last time we streamed, and Sarah is also one of the writers. She can't join us today, but I think Bex has already said in the chat that she's going to update everyone with what's going on. And finally, one more person to introduce. We have a brand new production person joining our team. May I spotlight you? Okay, so this is Casey.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'm going to be the production manager on this amazing web series. I'm so excited. I'm a huge Marauders era Wolfstar fan, and I work in film production full time, and so I'm really excited to be jumping on this really exciting web series. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So that is all the introductions done. Would we like Bex to give an update about where we're at with the story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds great.
There she is.
So, hi. So Sarah and I have been meeting and working on the story development still. We've been doing the breakdown for the first block, which is years 1 through 3, or up to chapter 55. So we've been going through and really like marking out the arcs that we want shown throughout the years and the important scenes to include and all of that, and working on having materials to give to the writers so that they can turn it into what we will see on the screen. So we're still in the middle of that. It is the first 55 chapters, so it's a lot, but it's been really exciting and we are making good progress. So.
Cool. Okay. So this is the part where everything gets chaotic. Are there any questions from the chat about anything so far? Just because, yeah, this is a good time for you all to just sort of throw your questions at us in regards to writing and story and anything. This is like a more informal Q&A. Let's take it like this.
Say,
well, if it's informal, I don't know how we are going to end up.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I've just spotted a how is casting going?
It's not going. At the moment, nothing is happening.
yeah, we're not there yet. We are discussing, however, even in the writing stage, being very intentional and specific with our diverse casting so that, you know, we are making this the representative piece that we want it to be.
Exactly.
Cool.
Hi, how long do you see the project going on? A while. When I say a while, I mean a good few years, because we want to film. Well, firstly, in terms of writing, we want to make sure everything is really good quality. Secondly, in terms of filming, we want to make sure everything's COVID safe as like our main priority. And thirdly, obviously, we've all got jobs as well, and we've got to account for actors being certain ages, so we're filming it kind of like a TV show, as in like a season per season basis, so you can expect content for the next few years for this, because we're all very dedicated to this and that's what we want to bring to you.
The thing that I love about this is that it's going to be a long project, and I hope that with timing it means that we're going to do this so well. I've got a really good idea of it in my head, and the fact that it is going to be a long project is just great.
I love your glasses.
Yeah, I saw Sirius's yellow specs, and I was like, I've got to dig out my own John glasses.
Can we wear glasses?
Now.
I forgot my hot dog costume for this.
I saw a question that was asking if we'd be casting LGBTQ people to play queer people.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
100%.
Will anyone else join the team? Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We're sort of doing it stage by stage, aren't we? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have crew and directors and cinematographers coming later, but like right now we're still very much in story development.
Do you have any actors in mind? I mean, David Thewlis as Remus Lupin, but we can have him.
Yeah, we're gonna just CGI his face so he looks really young.
Yes.
We'll do that.
I swear this is like the joke for everything we do now. Like any question we get asked about, like who do we imagine, Ro will just be like David Thewlis for Remus Lupin.
David Thewlis.
And I'll just be like, CGI his face so he looks younger. Do the characters have accents?
What? I couldn't hear what?
I mean, it's very important to me that we get the right regional actors to play the right characters. It's really important that Remus is from Essex and he's working class. So it's important that we get a working class actor from Essex to play Remus, stuff like that. I think it's very important for Grant as well that actor is from somewhere an area like that with an accent. I think it's very important that we stay true to the classes represented in the fic. Specify that a little bit as well, so more of the background characters are from different places as well, just because Northern Lily Evans is very important to me. But
Northern
yeah,
Northern Lily
Evans
is
agree.
important to all of us, I think.
Sorry,
Sorry, that was
somebody
so
asked a
Victorian
question.
Justice of me.
we all like Northern Lily Evans. So.
Somebody asked a question about writing tips on how to write a story. I saw that one.
On how to write a screenplay.
I think in the sense it was just writing a story, but we could apply it to a screenplay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard you. Okay. Right. Anyone got any tips? I need some. No, I'm kidding. But...
My biggest tip for writing a story, whether it's going to be, a screenplay or a short story or a novel, do not edit it until you get to the ending. Because if you get stuck in the habit of going back and editing things, you are never going to get any work done and you're just going to stress yourself out. So just write what makes sense for the moment and don't focus on things that are gonna, get in the way of the story itself. I feel like editing can really do that a lot.
Yeah, on that point as well, I used to, when I was writing fics, I used to read and edit what I'd written previously every single time I went to write. And by that point, I was like, oh, all these jokes are so boring. None of them are very funny. And this seems really boring and really predictable. It's because I'd read it 100 times. Don't edit it until the end. Otherwise, you'll just get bored of your own writing. So that's
Yeah. I'll say that this is precisely why I style myself as a poet rather than like a novel writer, because I just can't do that. Like I'm just not that person that can stick out like a 400-page novel, that kind of thing. Yeah, I agree with those things.
I mean, I say that advice, and yet earlier today I was trying to write a new chapter and I read everything that I had written before and was like, wow, I've read these jokes 5 times, they're not funny anymore. Like, take my own advice.
I find for me it's like not planning. Obviously you've got to plan, you've got to know your characters and you know, and generally like what's going on. But for me, I try not to plan too much. Otherwise, I find I have difficulty writing because I've set it out so rigidly as to like what has to happen that it then doesn't feel organic when I'm writing it. So with that kind of like don't over edit, kind of like don't over plan, because something you could be writing and think, oh no, actually that would be really good, but you don't want to be constricted by your own plan to then not be able to fit that in.
Yeah, I hate to be contrary, whereas as we know, everyone writes differently. My big thing is outlining very heavily from the outset. I think that's not saying that what Ruth said was wrong. It's saying that people just write so differently. I think my biggest takeaway from any piece of writing advice is don't listen to anyone's writing advice. And that's a quote from Taika Waititi, funnily enough. So I'm taking his advice, but I'm not taking advice. I think for me, is the most interesting thing about writing is, one, it's a thing that you have so long to learn. You have so much time because you can sell a screenplay or publish a book at 60 as you can at 20. Or 14. People have done that. They've self-published books at 16. Like it's insane. But I'd say do what you find is best. Trial and error is always one thing. I think it took me a really long time to find that I like to outline very heavily at the beginning, so I felt like I was secure when I was drafting, and it's helped me fly through drafts very, very quicker. Which is a sentence that's very poorly worded, considering I'm meant to be working with words. But I think for me, it's take any advice you think is worthwhile, leave behind what doesn't function for you.
See, I'm going to also be a little bit contrarian and kind of, again, like Connor was saying, like everyone has different styles of writing. But I would say that it's, for me, when I've written, it kind of forced upon me by the way that our writing workshops would go at university. So we used to have to read out our poems that we'd written that week and then just take people's feedback without having a chance to explain what the poem was. So like it was very intense, but it actually teaches you that sometimes people see things in your writing that you necessarily don't see. So I think having a trusted friend is like a really good thing to have. And like Connor says, being able to pick out the feedback that works for you is a really important skill to have as well. Yeah.
Like anything, there's never going to be one set way to do something. You know, everyone does, you know, things differently. So it literally is just finding what works for you. I didn't go to university and study writing. I didn't even really go to school that much. But I learned how to write and find my writing style through just reading screenplays. If you're into film and you want to read and you want to write film, read screenplays, watch films, notice what's going on and what's being written. If you want to, you know, write novels, just write all the time. I used to set myself I'd get on the bus in the morning on the way to school, college, work, put a song on, and in the length of that song, just in the notes app, just write down, just start writing. What does that song make you feel? Who can you imagine in that song? What's, you know, what can you hear? And it's just little exercises that you can do as a writer that you can then, you might find yourself writing, you know, a bigger project and think, actually, do you know what, that little drabble or that little thing that I wrote on the bus will work really well for that. So just practice as much as you can and just truly just try and find, you know, what works for you.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me is when you think about it, especially when it comes to writing, know that someone was paid for writing the movie Bright. And when you realize where the standard is, Fairy lives don't matter today is a quote burned into my head. You know, someone was paid for that. You come to realize that the standard you hold yourself to is beyond impossible. And whoever, for the amount of people that may dislike what you might write, or the amount you write that you dislike, someone out there will be your audience. And I think it's saying, as Wes Anderson said, you've got to find those people, those good reviews, and that's your audience. You've got to write for them. Look at me saying don't take writing advice, then giving fucking advice. I'm shut up now.
I think, another really good thing Ruth mentioned, you know, you just got to keep writing. And I think the best advice I ever heard was Stephen Moffat saying to me, write 1,000 words a day, and write 1,000 words a day every day. It doesn't matter like what it is, like you just got to keep writing, and eventually you'll look back on your old work, and even though you'll probably cringe, there's probably going to be something there where you look at it and you're like, okay, maybe I could rewrite that as well. Like I've done that with some of my past stuff. I looked at it and I was like, oh, cringing at what I wrote when I was 14, 15, and like I've rewritten it now, and I was like, this is how you develop over time, because it gives you something to compare to. You only ever really want to compare to yourself, but also just be careful because you're always going to be your own worst critic. So always, I think Connor mentioned it, but if you've got a trusted group of friends, always get them to read over your work. Or in my case, I put out a tweet saying, hey, can someone read this script for me? Does anybody want to read this and give me feedback? Actually, and that's how I met Connor, and that's how he ended up here in the first place as well. So, you know, sometimes like, get friends to read it, but also if you can get people who don't know you and have like a completely unbiased view of you as well, that can actually be more useful in the long run, because they'll be more likely to give you more constructive criticism, as well as tell you what's good about it as well, because sometimes friends are just like, oh yeah, I love it, and then they just won't say anything else unless you actually be like, yeah, but what can I improve?
There's a couple of repeat questions here. I want to take a couple questions from the chat. There's a lot of questions
off about writing.
There's a lot of questions about both the POVs, like including other POVs and the epilogue and things like that. So I wanted to say first, yes, I know a lot of it happens in Remus's internal monologue, and that the entire fic, at least primary material, is from POV. But we have talked about that, and I think that one of the really cool things about adaptations is that we will be able to see, like, we can show those other POVs and we can show things that are happening in his head more visually. So like if he's reminiscing about something that happens at St. Edmunds, like that's something we can show. Or if he notices that a character's behavior changes over time, that's something we can visually demonstrate. So a lot of that will come across in the story. It'll just be different because it's on screen.
Yeah. That's the great thing about script writing, though, is that you can take elements from a novel that are very internal, and you can find a way to show those internal thoughts visually, whether it be, you know, Bex and I were talking about this the other day about Remus's internal monologue. I know you guys have been asking about that a lot, actually. But there's so many ways that you could do that. You could just do that in editing as like a list on a screen with a voiceover, or you can have him writing out a physical list. Like there's so much you can play around with elements like that. You just got to figure out like what's actually going to fit the vibe of, like, we've got to figure out what's going to fit the vibe of what we're filming and writing, kind of thing. We have to figure out what's going to flow best, essentially. And also what fits the character in a visual way too.
I think interesting is like style was really interesting and inherent to that. I think depending on what is written and what like people who come on to direct later on have their say in it. It's like, for example, they're two very different incarnations, but if you compare Sherlock, the TV series, and Sherlock Holmes, the Guy Ritchie film, they show the internal workings of a mind in such completely different ways. One that leads more towards the abstract, that you would find an inherent abstract genius. and the other that was more streamlined for an action adventure film. And in style, you can do so much in such different ways. I think, as Libby said, that it will really be a process of development, but it's something that everyone has already considered or asked questions about.
Also, interestingly enough, that point about the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films, I had a university lecturer who argued that the way that they portrayed his thoughts, particularly in the fight scene with Moriarty in the second one, it felt too much like he was telling the future rather than actually going through his thought processes, because of the fact Moriarty was doing the exact same thing. It was like, oh, it's like he's just predicting what's going to happen and not actually analysing it as Sherlock Holmes would. So there's actually downfalls with that, with like the Guy Ritchie thing.
Or see, alternatively, I'd say it kind of a Queen's Gambit version of looking forwards in a game of chess, like in the second film. See, I'm not going to lie, those two films are my favourite films. They really engage me in cinema, so I will argue with you over that for a needless amount of time, and most likely be wrong. And most likely be wrong, but still argue with you anyway.
Yeah, let's not get Livy onto Sherlock Holmes, because like
Oh my
me
gosh.
and Livy have talked about Sherlock for hours.
Okay, we'll find time.
Real quick,
capable
I
of
once
it.
went through my complete Sherlock Holmes book and got post-it notes and wrote down what year each story was actually set, so I could read them in chronological order.
See, I've read all of
Livy
them,
thing
but
to
not to
do.
that level. I'll give you that. Well, let's find time for me and you to go 6 rounds at some point, arguing over that benign iteration of the story at some point.
Hey, I have a question. Who's wearing their Mooney shirts? Yes.
Yes.
Wanted to point out.
Still waiting for mine to arrive.
Someone take a photo.
I'm not here yet.
If anyone watching wants anything for a Mooney shirt, we're only running the campaign until this Saturday. So maybe we can drop the link in the chat below. But
I'll do it.
Okay, great. Because it's only till this Saturday.
Buy it. It's nice.
You want to
Very
buy
soft.
it? And then,
I saw another question about writing for beginners. Can I go off about that again?
Yeah, go for it.
Please.
So
Honestly, the best thing you can do is just write. I feel like there's a sort of idea that writing is like being good at writing is an inherent skill that you're born with. It's not. It's a skill like anything else, and you have to practice a lot. And not just, once every 5 months. It has to be like every day. And you find your style and you find what works for you, and that's how you become a writer, really.
Can I add something? Any type of art, like writing is also a type of art. You can have talent for it since you are born, but you need to practice every single day. Like music, like painting, you need to do that because you might have talent, but if there is no practice, then there is nothing.
Yeah, I just like to wade into this a little bit and say something that's really helped me recently. If there's any writers out there struggling or not knowing like where to start, not all writing has to be for somebody else. I feel like we're in a bit of a culture now where it's like, I'm writing this and will somebody like it? Can I put this on AO3? Will this like it? You can just write something and nobody has to see it, and it doesn't matter if you write it and never look at it again, or it's just for you. Like, that's a really good way to keep practicing writing, and something that I learned fairly recently, because I feel like in the past I was very bogged down in like, if I'm writing, it has to be for someone, and you don't have to do that, and that's fine.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier when we were talking about writing, and I was thinking, why do we need to write with the objective of getting it published, like, or publishing it on AO3? Just write for fun, write for your own enjoyment, write just to get it out of your brain. Because like Livy knows me, I've had fanfic ideas stuck in my brain for 10 years and I just have to get them. I'm just writing it now to get it out of my brain so I can just stop thinking about it. I'm not going to publish it anywhere. I'm writing it for fun and just so I can think about something else for once.
Yeah.
Also, the amount of self-indulgent crap that I have written, I mean, some of it I have told, like, stuff that I've not put online, but, like, I think one of them was I told Bean about it. I'll just tell you about it now. But basically, it was like me and Bean went to Stockholm together for my 22nd birthday, and I wrote a bunch of poetry, which I was like, maybe I could turn this into like some weird sort of short film. And I wrote out a whole storyline about a girl who goes to Stockholm and gets a Swedish boyfriend, because that's what I was feeling at that. Stop fucking laughing, Connor.
I remember you telling me all about it on the plane back, and I was like, yeah, all right.
But it was just like, it was like, sometimes you just feel a certain way, because like I fucking fell in love with like that city, and I just love Swedish culture, and I was just like, fuck it. Write that self-indulgent shit and get it out your system as well, and there's absolutely no harm in that, because it's not like you're hurting anybody either.
It's a great coping mechanism as well. I found I have put myself in some situations, or found myself in some situations, that the next day I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck has just happened? And so the only way that I've found that I can cope with that and process that is by writing it down in screen form, because you have obviously the characters and the clear idea of dialogue and obviously the actions, and it's really kind of therapeutic to write it on screen form, because then you can kind of put yourself in that situation and view and be like, oh, okay, that's what happened. Maybe I should say some apologies now. It's, yeah.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked if we could talk a bit about diversity and representation.
Yeah, I just saw that. I think this is what we were mentioning earlier, that we're going to be specific with the ethnicities of characters, because if you want to know a fun fact about the film and TV industry, if you do not specify the ethnicity or race of someone within a script, they will automatically just cast a white person. So unless you specify, that's it, that's what they go for. But obviously with our team, we were saying, like, even if we didn't specify, we would actively seek out non-white people for particular roles. James and Sirius are the main ones that are cropping up for that at the moment. However, there is the problem in that if you just do a generic open casting call for things like that, you're going to have to filter through a lot of people you don't want to get to the ones that you do want. So you have to make it specific. So by default, you do get the pool of people that you actually want to pick from, sort of thing, if that makes sense. So it means that we don't have to, say we went for Indian James Potter and we didn't write that as like a specific character description, we would then put out this generic casting call, and then we would have to effectively tell all these Caucasian people no. We'd have to sift through and tell more people no, and then there's only going to be maybe 10-20% of people there that are actually Indian, that we're like, okay, please audition for us, kind of thing, please, So the minute we specify, that's it, that's the only pool. We'd only have to pick from a pool of Indian people per se, if that's where we went for James Potter. And it makes things a lot easier for Ro and Sirius in that regard as well. And that's because this is quite a monster project. We're about trying to make things as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And no, people from the chat cannot come up into this Zoom call. If you have anything to say, you can just put it in the chat and we will be sure to discuss it if we're able to. Just saw that there.
Can you explain how casting would work? That's a question. Basically, I think everything will be online. Because it's going to be difficult with the situation that we have at the moment with COVID, and also with us, because Pat is in Germany and I'm in Spain. I think it will be online. So basically the process is going to be learn some lines, like send us your CV. If we call you for audition, then you need to learn some lines. You come like in a Zoom call maybe, and then you do the audition. And then if we are interested, you will go to the second stage, then another audition, and then the final stage where we all talk and we decide, okay, we have these people, maybe we will record some auditions just for everyone else to see like how they act. And then we will decide. That will be for one character. So that process will happen with every single person.
Whew, yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
so
asked if how the writing is going to be split up between the writers.
I just saw that, so I've whipped out my notebook.
Hermione alert.
Okay.
Here we go.
So, I think this is actually a great question because I feel like we probably should have specified this anyway. So, in terms of how the writing is going to be split up, so for the time being, we're working on 6 episodes for years 1 to 3. They will be summer 1971, first year, summer of 72, second year, summer of 73, and third year. And there will be one main writer per episode, and since there are 6 of us actual writers on the team, we all get to lead on one episode, and then there will be 2 additional writers on that episode who get to edit and change things within the episode. However, all writers and all story development people are allowed to give feedback where they think it's necessary. I'm just going to tell you who's going to be doing what episode, because I think you might like that, because I've got the list here. So, for episode 1, Summer 1971, your lead writer is me, with the help from Remy and Rachel as my co-writers. For first year, our lead writer is Frank.
Yes.
And their co-writers will be Ruth and Connor. For summer 1972, your lead writer will be Rachel. And her co-writers will be Ruth and Remy. For second year, your lead writer will be Connor. And his co-writers are myself and Bean. I just call them Bean because they're my friend. Anyway, for summer 1973, your lead writer is Remy. And his co-writers are Rachel and Bean. Which means for episode 6, third year, your lead writer will be Ruth, assisted by myself and Connor. And I divvied up the episodes between all of us, and how I did it was we had a call with the writers last week, and we all discussed, like, people said what their preferences were and what their strengths and weaknesses were within writing, and I kind of took that into account, and I put people on episodes which I thought they would work best to their strengths, whilst they would also get to learn a bit from others as well. So everybody works on an episode type that they are strong in, but also what they are weaker in, so therefore they can learn, so that in the future they can lead an episode like that, basically. So yeah.
That reasoning was very wise.
Excited.
I like the wiseness of that, knowing that you can find the strengths and weaknesses in the same episode. That's the sign of a true leader. Well done, I think.
Sip your wine.
And then I sip my wine.
I've seen like 7 times in the chat if I'm going to be playing Remus. No. No.
Do you think it'll be hard to find older actors to play the professors and other older characters? No, I don't.
No.
It's going to be easier.
Difficult is going to be to find kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
The
suggestion is, like, because we're doing it as like one, is like we're doing like each group of episodes as like a season. It would be like the same actor for that season, basically. So you need to find like a nice middle ground between like the age 11 and the age 13 kind of thing.
Yeah.
For each of the characters, for season 1, basically. Ooh, hang on. How long do you think the episodes will typically be? They're going to be different lengths. So the summer episodes are going to be will function more like short films, so they'll be about 15 minutes maximum. And then the actual Hogwarts episodes, like for each year, will be about like TV length kind of episodes that are about 45, 50 minutes long. So you can get everything in one go. And also it's easier for us to plan.
So I've got a quick question for Swifty. How does it feel ripping my heart out with Grant Chapman on the moon?
Do not.
Because I was in two minds. I was like, do I get the thick bound and use Swifty's covers, or do I wait until I find out if I'm on the team and then get it written, like get it printed so I can annotate it? And then I saw Grant and I was like, do you know what, do it. And the moment they arrived, I said, Mum, come here, look, Grant here. I'm famous.
I think it should be known that Swifty was brought on just so everybody can air their grievances about heartbreak. That's Swifty called.
My problem
It's
with
just my
Grant on the
public
Moon
trial.
is on the third bit.
Book, the back of the third book. Grant's not there, and I just the way that Grant's just laying back like that, and then he's a little bit further, and then that's
One thing that I don't think a lot of people have noticed is that in the back of the cover, Ruth, you should actually check, is curled up in the roots is actually Remus in werewolf form alone.
I saw that, and it destroyed me. My problem was I looked at those covers on Tumblr before I'd finished reading all the young dudes. So when Grant was missing, I was like, excuse me. I had a blind panic in that moment.
I think the first time I noticed that, that's when I was reminded I have a heart and it can break.
And I just love lovely at the end, just lovely, and everything. I said to my mum, I was
And
like,
there's Mary and Marlene sitting on all the young dudes' letters on the spine. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to put them in?" I was like, "Of course."
See, the weird thing is I'm quite a heartless person as a human individual. And I genuinely forgot I could smile while I was reading something, while I was reading this story. I think for me, despite the way sometimes I'm reading and writing, I like no emotion whatsoever, borderline sociopath. And then reading the nice moments of the story, I was like, what the fuck? I actually feel emotions. This isn't normal for me. So it put me through quite an identity crisis. I won't lie to you guys.
Why do you sound
This
like
is why he
Sherlock?
drinks every time one of these things happen. Well, actually, no, the other time he was hungover. Anyway,
I was actually on the phone to my friends earlier who've just finished reading The Thick, and I said to them, I feel like I felt more emotions reading all the young dudes in a week than I had done for the entire 10 years before reading all the young dudes.
Changes you. It really changes you fundamentally.
yeah.
Sorry, there is a question. Will we need any musicians for some kind of orchestration for the future? I mean, if I see it as without my feet on the ground, I would say yes. The difficult part is not finding musicians because I'm a musician and I have a lot of contacts. The difficult part is find a way to record that. It's very expensive because the recording something, the music, it goes per hour and it can be like, I don't know, £500 per hour. We don't know yet how we are going to do that. But yeah, it would be lovely to have musicians and to have, like a conductor and to have a composer to do the music. Well, David Bowie and all the 70s songs and everything, we will take it from the original songs. But like, if we want to make new music, then we will need composers and musicians. Yeah. So yeah.
Does anyone else just listen to that playlist, like all the young dudes playlist has got like every
gosh,
song on
yeah.
it and cry? Is that
It's on shuffle in my house constantly,
all the time?
I've been playing it in the car with my dad when he drives me to and from my parents' house because I'm in a bubble with them and I see them every Saturday. And my dad is like, "Oh, you've really been getting into 70s music recently." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's absolutely no reason for that at all."
Absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Nope.
There's a question: are you going to include everything that happens in all the Young Dudes?
Sorry, before we do that, just got an email come through from Design by Humans. They took down anything
what?
for our Mooney.
Why?
What?
Licensed IP.
Breaking news, guys. Just in.
Because
Licensed
apparently-
IP.
What?
Okay, so
What?
basically, I think everyone will still get. I think everyone who obviously paid, it's all
Someone
going to be shipped
reported
out
or
still.
what?
I mean, okay. Also, we were going to stop selling this on Saturday, so we'll just.
I just want to put out there, because this has happened to other creators on TikTok especially. If your merch is being taken down, it's probably due to JKR's team. Wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Fuck JK Rowling.
It's literally, I think, so
Because Mooney is, I think, the word
so
Mooney.
basically, I think all the Marauders nicknames are regrettably licensed by Warner Brothers. But the thing is, like, the actual product wasn't even tagged as that. But actually, I think this actually leads us into a really great. This is a great segue into what we actually really need to talk about, because Bex is reminding me in our Zoom chat as well. So we will be doing an Indiegogo campaign to fund the first 6 episodes, to fund creating the first 6 episodes, absolutely non-profit. Every bit of money we get is going into getting equipment, hiring locations, feeding the actors, transporting people, costumes, all of that stuff. None of us are getting a penny of it, so it's legal. Technically, this is legal as well, but Designed by Humans, fuck it, whatever. Anyway.
Wow.
So basically, on the 6th of March, I suggested, we will be officially launching our Indiegogo campaign, and we will be doing a live stream when we launch it, and you can get very unique merch and perks from it. So the idea is, if you don't know how Indiegogo works, you can donate any amount of money to a project that you want to. However, everyone puts incentives, so you donate a certain amount of money. You have to check the actual box though for it to actually claim it. You can't say, like, I'm going to donate £5 and therefore I'll get this. There will be an actual box saying that if you donate £5 you'll get this. So basically, if you donate £5 you'll get a sticker, which is the All the Young Dudes record player sticker, which is actually our logo here on YouTube. Where's my list? I need my list. I need my list so I can actually go through this all accurately, so I can tell you what you would actually get. Okay, so £5 you would get a sticker, and there'll be like a limited amount available for each selected perk, and any higher perk will include a previous perk. So for instance, £10 you'll get a sticker, and you'll also get an A6 postcard, which will be the Mooney Toast postcard, designed by Swifty. And then £25 you get the Mooney postcard, you get the record player sticker, and you get another postcard, which is it's going to be a cute little poster of the Marauders outside Hogwarts. And then £50 and up, sticker, the postcards, and like an actual poster, which, you know, is captioned with like All the Young Dudes based on the fanfic kind of thing. Like, it's like an official poster basically. £100 you get all that, and you will also be sent all 6 shooting scripts that we will have written as well. And then above that, a £200 perk includes all of that below, and then an associate producer credit, and then £500 is that and the executive producer credit. And I was also thinking maybe exclusive behind the scenes pictures as well for that one. I feel like that would be quite a nice one, that people get to see that before anyone else. And also the 2 highest tier perks will get to see the episodes before anyone else. And anyone who donates will get a thank you in the credits. So you get to be credited on a film type thing, which is pretty cool. Everyone loves that. But yeah. So that's what's going to happen when we launch that in a couple of weeks, and we'll launch it live on a live stream with the core team, the core production team, and we'll probably make it like a silly live stream and just chat and chill with you guys, and we're going to have the campaign run for 60 days because that's the absolute maximum an Indiegogo campaign can run, and there'll be a cute little official video as well to go with it, which we're putting together at the moment. What else is there to do with that?
And it'll help us, like, even if you can't donate or you're too young to donate, like, it'll still help us if you share. The more people that
exactly. Tell your parents, tell your friends, tell everyone at school, tell your worst enemies. You never know, they might be really into wolf stuff. Like,
I'm going to announce it at the beginning of every single one of my live lessons at school. So
I'll plug it at work. I'll be like, yo, does anyone like Marauders? Does anyone like Harry Potter? This? Are you? Yeah. Okay, here you go. Support me as a filmmaker. But yeah. So even though you can't get the jumper or shirt anymore, you will be able to get other cool stuff, which we will be sending out as like physical things to everybody, obviously. So we're gonna get all that shit printed out and stuff like that. So
sorry, I see a question that is repeating. Would a person without red hair be an automatic no for Lily? No. You can dye your hair.
Yeah.
If you dye your hair, like if you are okay with dyeing your hair, then it's fine. Or even a wig, but I prefer like dyeing the hair. But no, it's fine.
My worst enemy is a HP fan, but a Tom Stan. Not sure you want them. Look, if a Tom Stan wants to give us money for this project, we'll take it. It's reparations.
Anyone's money.
It's reparations for what the Tom Stans did on TikTok.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh.
How do we audition? We haven't opened the auditions yet.
Yeah, we haven't yet.
We haven't. We will put all the details, but everything will be online. So no need, because I saw another question before, like, are the auditions going to be in South or North England? I'm in Spain at the moment, so it's going to be online. It's not going to happen in person.
Someone's asked if we can say our Hogwarts houses and Patronuses.
Okay.
I've just seen someone very quickly in the chat just ask whether we're going to have any Irish people, and I would like to say I would love to have some Irish representation in.
I love Irish people, so yes, for me.
Yes.
I'd like some better Irish representation than Seamus Finnegan, whose only thing is blowing stuff up.
although, hang on, wait, what was it? Someone said in Discord, it wasn't even me, so I can say that. Alexander Skarsgård for Ferox.
Yes.
But also just like any hot Irishman.
Donald Gleeson.
I'm sorry, but when I read all the young dudes, and the first person who I thought when I read about Ferox, it was Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart.
I actually had
this is your casting director.
That's so Castro.
What about Tom Hiddleston for Ferox?
What?
Tom Hiddleston for Ferox.
I will call him. No worries, I will call him.
We've got Wimbledon tennis match, Alexi Scandinavia, and Timothy Hiddle Me This. They're all good. They're all good for potentials for Ferox.
Wimbledon tennis match, I think it will be a good option.
What are your guys' plans for finding filming locations specifically for Hogwarts scenes? We're going to try and look into boarding schools for that one. Yeah, we're going to try and look into boarding schools for that one because, and this kind of ties into the will this be filmed in the north or south of England? There's probably more boarding schools in the south of England because it's Tory central.
Can I just interrupt really quick? Somebody said Paul Rudd.
Yes.
What?
That's incredible.
Come again?
I'm so sorry, but that had to be shared.
That's so good.
I'm
Paul
here.
Rudd, but buff and blonde.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stick him in a wig.
Royal Holloway Uni would make a great Hogwarts. Yes, so would this posh ass school in my hometown as well. Like, oh god, there's honestly so many places in like London, Greater London, Kent, and Surrey that are like.
Kent has too many private schools, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When I lived in Canterbury, I couldn't walk through a street without finding some kid moving between one part of the campus and the other. When your secondary school campus is split around multiple parts of one city, that indicates a lot of wealth. One kid almost hit me accidentally with a hockey stick. I didn't appreciate it.
No,
Not to put my job in jeopardy or anything, but I think any amount of private schools is too many private schools.
Exactly.
I agree.
You got a point there.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I went to a private school for 2 years, but in my defence, it was because I was getting bullied at a different school, and my mum had worked at the private school, so I went to that private school.
You get a pass.
Yeah.
My favourite, one of my favourite stories to tell from university was that someone in my class came up to me and said, "Don't worry, Rachel, I went to a shit school too. We only had one squash court." And I was like, whoa, whoa. We got like half a rugby pitch at my school, concrete prison. But
We
you know
had
what?
one concrete tennis courts that got turned into a car park because we could no longer afford to have nets. So.
Have they heard about the science blocks? Like the science blocks that are just caravans, because they're going to shit themselves if one squash court constitutes as a shit school.
I was also a bit like
temporary classrooms that have been there for 20 years.
I was also like rude of you to assume that I went to a shit school. Okay.
I love how like caravan and trailer classrooms are an international thing. I thought that was the creation of America. So
like I went to like a posh little school in secondary school. And we had like literal like classrooms like huts. We had little huts at one point and like little classrooms on wheels as well. It was really weird, and then they all got like destroyed and like a new building was made. And we weren't
because those are the temporary ones.
Building, they were like, "You're not allowed to eat in there. You have to go to the canteen." And it was like, "But the canteen is full up, and the only place to eat outside in the winter has no shelter." And then they just kept putting us in detention, and we were like, "You good? Like, are you good?"
When I was doing my teacher training, my school that I was working at got Ofsted rated, and it got rated the worst that you can be rated. And they were like, "We're going to move you to a new school." But I was working in Oxford, and I was like, "I will not be put in a private school because I am not going to ever work in a private school." And they were like, "Okay, you can stay in this one then," because there was no other option. I just refuse. I will not. Not to like I said, not to put my job on the line, but I hate private schools.
Someone asked again, Hogwarts houses and Patronuses. Should we just cover that quickly?
Yeah,
we should do that.
Yeah, why not?
I'm a
Shit, what
Hufflepuff.
was my?
And my Patronus is a Manx cat.
Hufflepuff, and I don't remember what it was from the quiz, so I've decided it's a fox.
Hufflepuff, and it's my Patronus is a horse. I don't like horses, so I've got a problem with that.
I'm a Slytherin, to break the trend. And my Patronus is apparently a buzzard.
Also, the
Don't
fact
know what
that
that
Bean's
means.
a Slytherin, that's why me and Bean are like besties. The Hufflepuff
Yeah,
Slytherin
you gotta-
friendship superiority right there.
Slytherin's got to have a Hufflepuff bestie. So.
I am a Ravenclaw, and my Patronus, I think, was a pygmy hawk. I think.
I am a Gryffindor.
Yes.
And my Patronus is a black mare, so a horse, like Ruth.
That's what I got. Did you do the quiz? I don't want to say. I think I'm gonna find. Okay, change of scene. Right, the Amaretto's hit. My Patronus is a pigeon because I'm a pigeon.
Oh, yeah.
I am the mother of pigeons. So
I
my
love
Patronus is now a pigeon. Not a nice pigeon, not one of those pigeons you see in the countryside that are like all cool. My Patronus is one of the beat up pigeons that you see on the high street that's fighting other pigeons for a chip that's got 1 foot. That is my Patronus.
I love that for you. That's great.
That's me.
The picture you painted was just so rich.
You need to come to South End High Street and see the pigeons.
Wait, relevant. My friend on the high street in my hometown, my friend saw a guy pick up a pigeon and put it in his backpack and walk away.
It was me that you saw. I'm sorry.
I was in a coffee shop one day and this little pigeon had just, this fat little pigeon had just walked in through the door, and everyone was like, oh no, a pigeon. And this woman just walked over, just one hand, like how a child picks up a brick of Lego, a hand spread and just grabbed this whole pigeon in her hand and just let it fly. And it was the most beautiful thing I've seen, just so confidently picked up a pigeon.
Anyway, who's next?
I'm a Gryffindor, and my Patronus is a Mastiff.
I love that.
I'm a Gryffindor, and my Patronus is a Sistroll.
Nice.
I love that.
I'm a Slytherin who for a long time
knew
thought
it.
he was a Gryffindor, and my Patronus I think it was a border collie. Weirdly enough, didn't know that was an option, but there you go.
It suits you.
Clearly. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Who's
Oh,
next?
who's next?
I'm a Slytherin, and my Patronus is a Scottish deerhound.
Oh, I love Deerhound.
Yes.
Fun fact, it's the same dog breed as the Animagus form of Sirius Black.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing. Okay, I'm a Gryffindor, and my Patronus is a white wolf.
Wow.
Of course.
Nice.
Even though
I'm actually jealous of that Patronus. You have no idea.
you wanna
I'm so upset.
trade? You wanna trade?
I'm a Ravenclaw, and my Patronus is a gray squirrel.
I love that.
The one Ravenclaw.
The one Ravenclaw, and
I'm the-
working on production. Yes.
I'm the only Ravenclaw? Oh my God.
No, I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh, Remy's a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got a good mix of houses. I
We
feel like
know,
it's
right?
a great thing.
Imagine this in the Hype House. Oh God.
My God.
Imagine the dorm party that we'd have.
Hang on, this
We wish
guys,
we should have
be
like a
part.
rap party or something.
You know the parties, the Gryffindor parties. We should be part of that. Just the background actors, like extras.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like, oh, fuck
because
it,
then
yeah.
it saves us having to get extras because we'll have already been like quarantined anyway. It's fine.
I think we can only really like fit into the later years. Otherwise, it's going to be like, what are all these adults doing?
Hey, I could pretend to be 16. Fuck off.
I still look it's fine.
I regularly get
I saw
told by
that.
the children that I look like a sixth former, so I could do this.
my god.
We could be
My
like
only
bringing
question is
Connor.
this going to be like actual film set rules, with no alcohol, no actual cigarettes, or actual alcohol?
I like
actual
where you're going
party,
with this.
just with cameras.
I love
That's
this.
my question.
This is
I know you brought the bar with you here, but I'm not sure we can do that on set.
That's what I was asking. I'm out of the bar now. I'm finished.
Well, I
You
actually
can get
know
into
how
that later.
I actually know how to roll fake cigarettes, guys. I had to do that for a short film once. Like, we were
Iconic.
smoking chamomile tea.
Yeah, I know how to roll fake cigarettes too.
Yeah, me too.
I just have a nicotine addiction.
So do I. I do some for a theatre show, and I just smoke them on stage. And one night I couldn't be asked to make the props before a show, so I brought on a bunch of chewits and started handing them out on stage to people as they were trying to act. So they were expecting a cigarette and got a sweet instead, and it was really distracting for all of them. And I continued on as if nothing had happened. They were like, "What the fuck am I to do with this?" Like.
Can I bring up a question that somebody asked before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody asked if I would be bringing HIV/AIDS knowledge. I'm assuming down the line.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, of
really
course.
think that's. I mean, outside of how it relates to lycanthropy, sure, in the beginning, but that's far off, I think.
I'm such a big fan of Remy's AIDS series, like such a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So excited to see
absolutely.
it.
Highly recommend that to
So
anyone who's
good,
not
Remy.
watched it yet on TikTok.
Yeah, it's
It's
incredible.
really good.
Thank
It's
you.
really good to watch.
Okay,
So someone in here has said Connor as Professor Ferox.
Definitely.
Someone is
Holy
simping over
shit.
Connor. Someone's
Connor
just
would
like,
take
sip,
a
sip,
cigarette
sip.
from a
Yeah, I've seen someone simping over Connor in the chat.
And then
Connor?
someone's
Connor,
asking
big curly
what
wig.
Regulus is, which is James Potter in Regulus Black. Do you know? Hey,
Oh.
here's a great thing to remember. Pegulus.
Wait, Pegulus.
Claire's thing?
Yes.
Look at Bex being alive.
I know the person who
She
really
shipped it.
started pushing Jegulus, and I have a problem with it.
I have a problem with Jegulus.
Same. But if you're not
best-
following
did you see the
Jegulus
best
for
friend's
life
brother
on
thing?
TikTok, I highly recommend it.
You know the sound on TikTok that's like, I feel like as long as it's not incestuous or there's like a really specific age gap, I'm fine with people shipping whatever they like. I feel like Jegulus is my one where I'm like, no.
That's the line in the sand.
Why is everyone going on about Pigeon Remus? What is this?
I don't know.
Started something.
I didn't notice that either until just now.
Yeah, I just looked down and I'm like,
This
What
is
is
my
going
legacy.
Clearly, I have to draw Remus as a pigeon now.
oh please.
Please
Please
do.
do it.
Pigeon
We'll put it on the official TikTok.
It can be a
Someone commented and said that you should draw me with my Patronus on my shoulder. So I'm gonna commission that.
you in the big furry coat.
In the big furry
and-
coat.
Glasses.
And the glasses and just a little pigeon.
Why are your glasses?
outside. But
Ruth.
Absolutely.
I'm really hot. This coat was a mistake.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I think drinking
we're
was
gonna
a
have to take
mistake.
off my
I think a Pigeon Remus trend just started, and we have no conception of when it began.
Because I scrolled back, I saw someone said someone cast a pigeon as Remus. I'm going to assume it's because of what Ruth said before.
Okay.
And you
I was
know
like, how
what?
did we
I'm here
miss
for it because I
this?
don't think there's enough pigeon representation in
This is
media
my-
today.
I agree.
Oh no, I learnt a fact about pigeons. So all the little mangy pigeons that you see in high streets, they're descendants of
Are
carriers
you drunk?
that never made it home from war.
This will be really interesting. The fact that you're doing it in reflective glasses is really fucking distracting.
I can't wait to meet Ruth.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I feel like I
Guys,
really
it's 10
imagine.
past 11. I feel like we should probably start wrapping this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crap, we're gonna have to make a meme about Pigeon Remus on TikTok now.
I'm
I'm so lost.
I'm Pigeon Remus. with like big eye bags.
We're all lost. Is that
provided we forget about me being Ferox at any point. If we can wipe that from the slate, then we're absolutely fine.
No, we've already written it down. Honestly, and Ferox.
Connor, think about auditioning for Ferox. Think about it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You should do it.
Yes.
It's in the
You have my approval.
It's a yes.
Truth is my religion.
You know,
It's so
Connor
good.
will just stand in front of us and like, yes, you're in, okay?
Like, Connor, can you just smoke for us real quick? Look hot, and then like give some advice, and then
just the interview can
two
be
of those parts. I can't do all three.
just the interview can be.
do
Have
it.
you ever taken a cigarette from a 14-year-old?
Connor,
I
your
don't
audition
smoke.
could be looking at someone who's super obviously gay and living with their boyfriend and just being like,
I was
oh
just
yeah, so you
saying
guys must
that
just be really
scene.
good friends, right?
Connor's not my fucking brother, Professor.
Okay, so anyway, so we've got just to leave it on this note. So we've got a Pigeon Remus and Connor as Ferox. I know we have our own artists as well who will probably potentially end up doing something with that information.
I'm starting the campaign of Connor as Ferox 2021.
Yeah, Ro will start
Yeah.
that.
I'm joining that.
Hashtag.
If anybody in
Hashtag.
chat has TikTok and would like to make memes about Pigeon Remus and Connor as Ferox, please do.
On it.
Just
Connor, do you have TikTok,
Tag
Connor?
me.
No,
we
Oh
can just
my
send
God,
him
Connor!
links.
you had one
It's
job.
time.
It's time.
It's time to have a
for you to
TikTok.
get the clock
I'm
out, my
Connor.
boy.
I've been thinking about it for a while, but
First
I've
of
not
all,
opened it
you
yet.
need to watch Life is Sweet.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't listen to Rose.
Please.
That was one of mine and Rose's first
I'll DM you
conversations,
later,
and I was
though.
just like, no, I'm not.
Okay.
Okay. Right, we should let's actually wrap this up this time. I'm just gonna what am I doing? Hello, it's me. Thank you.
Pigeon Remus merch. Pigeon Remus merch. Pigeon Remus merch.
As a perk on the Indiegogo.
I'll do
If
it.
you donate
Maybe one of our stretch
£500.
goals will be Pigeon Remus merch. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you for being as respectful as possible in this stream chat. Like I said, we'll be doing another one when we launch our Indiegogo in a couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you all for coming. And we'll see you soon. Everyone, say bye. I'm going to put us back on the thing. Say bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye.